That's it. That's actually something.
This is very slow walking.
It'd be hard to
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello. I think it's time. The time has come. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. Oh, great. My name's Linda Pitching. I'm Chair of Leeds Civic Trust. And on behalf of the Trust, I'm really pleased to welcome you all today to this historic event, an unveiling of a blue plaque to Beryl Burton. Leeds Civic Trust is an organisation mostly of volunteers, of people who care about Leeds, Leeds past, its present and its future. And one of the ways we recognise the past, the historic aspects of Leeds, and by Leeds I mean the whole metropolitan area, is the Blue Plaque scheme and also Heritage Open Days in September. And Morley is a regular player, shall we say, within Heritage Open Days in September. The Blue Plaques commemorate events and people and buildings that have helped to shape the city. And obviously today we are unveiling a plaque to a very special person. Just as some background, today's event really is the coming together of several happy circumstances. The first of which, probably about 18 months ago, was an exhibition I saw in Leeds as part of the Olympic 2012 legacy, and it was called Leeds Women in Sport, and there was a fair bit of information about Beryl Burton. And although I do remember, I guess like many of you, I remember seeing her on TV probably in the 60s. I don't remember much before that, because and she was waving to the crowd, having just won another race, and it was probably even in black and white TV then. But I had no idea of her prolific achievements and her outstanding prowess and athleticism. So I was very interested to read that, and I thought at the time, oh, blue plaque potentially here. Then we got news that Britain was going to host the first leg, or few days, of the Tour de France 2014. Not only Britain, but Yorkshire playing this phenomenally important part with the Grand Départ from Leeds Town Hall, July the 5th. So suddenly I'm thinking, cycling, Beryl, Tour de France, this is just coming together now. It's worth saying actually that in the history of the Tour de France, and many of you might know how long it's been going, but many, many years, it is the first year that the host country has organised a cultural festival linked with the tour. 100 days of, between March and July, when it starts the 5th of July. 100 days of activities, celebrations, festivals and so on. The Grand this, the Tour de the other. If you go to Otley, there are yellow bikes propped up against lampposts and people's garden balls and so on. I've already seen some tour helpers here with their t-shirts on. But Welcome to Yorkshire have done a fantastic job publicising that. So this event is part of a fringe event as part of the Tour de France. And I need to thank some people. I'm very pleased to be able to thank the sponsors of the plaque. And we have joint sponsors in Morley Town Council, Morley Town Centre Management and the Outer South Area Committee of Leeds City Council have put money together to sponsor the plaque. These things do take a lot of organising, and we have a plaques group within the Civic Trust, and John Crossan, who's been buzzing around here today, has been liaising with the clerk of the council, Karen, and also Wendy. So great thanks to them, and also to Deborah Hill at the Civic Trust for putting things together with the invitations and so on. Lots and lots of emails fly through the Civic Trust when there's an unveiling like this. We thank Roger for fixing the plaque to the wall of the Yorkshire Bank for all eternity. And of course, we thank the Yorkshire Bank management for allowing this to be fixed. Interestingly, as Roger was drilling, not one person questioned what he was doing. So either the folk of Morley are really well communicated with about what's happening, or you're very trusting that people can drill the side of the bank. There is a souvenir handout. There will be enough copies for everybody in the crowd today, but hopefully there will be some available. And I thank Bob Tyrrell at the Trust for putting that together, along again with Deborah for typing it and getting it printed. So that's a souvenir of this event, and it's always a good summary of the person or the building that we are commemorating. You'll notice that we don't just put a plaque on the wall and walk away. We like a bit of drama, you see, so we put the plaque up and we have some curtains around it, and then we ask a distinguished person to unveil it for us. And here was the third piece of happy circumstance for me. I get my, oh thank you, I get my summer brochure, What's On at the West Yorkshire Playhouse, and I open it, and there's a drama called Beryl, written by Maxine Peake, which has been developed from the drama she wrote for Radio 4 in 2012. So then we're thinking, oh, now then, she's researched Beryl. She obviously likes Beryl. She's not a Yorkshire lass, but she is a northern lass. And I think it's safe to say we've taken her to our hearts. It's just about to rain, isn't it? So it just made, then we had a couple of questions. Were you willing and were you available? And the answer was yes and yes. So I'm going to hand over to Maxine now, who's going to, I hope, tell us a little bit about her background and Beryl, and then pull the string to unveil the plaque. Maxine.
It's my first time in Morley, I'm ashamed to say, but I'll be back. But yeah, so it's quite strange for me because this is quite a short journey. It's probably just nearly 3 years ago that it was actually a boyfriend of mine. A boyfriend of mine, my boyfriend, not that you. Sorry, it's good job he's not here. We're in trouble. Anyway, my boyfriend bought me a book because I'm like cycling, and it was Beryl, Burton's autobiography, and I had never ever heard of her. I was again ashamed to say. So I read it and I thought, why hasn't somebody done a drama on this? Why hasn't somebody done something about this woman, and why don't I know about her? So I was doing a radio play at the time, and I approached the producer and director, Justin Potter, and just said, look, I've got this idea for a radio play. I said, and it's about cyclists, and I was thinking bikes and cycling in chains, and that, it'd be really good on the radio, a really good soundscape. So I said, I'd like to play it, so can you get somebody to write it? And she said, well, why don't you write it? So I did. I wrote it. It took me a while, didn't really know what I was doing. But while I was writing it, I had the real privilege to meet Denise and Charlie. And then it really flipped the play on its head. To be honest, it should have been a documentary. These two guys are much more interesting than anything I could have written. And we were so moved and about the stories about Beryl, and they were just full of joy, and it was just a fascinating time and a fascinating experience, and that's one of the things I really take away from it, is meeting Denise and Charlie. So anyway, blah blah blah, I'm wittering as usual, I don't know, it's a Lancashire thing. And then I got approached by West Yorkshire Playhouse to adapt it for a play, and I did, and it's on at the end of this month, so I hope you're all going to get tickets and go, please. It should be good fun. They've got some fantastic actors who I think, I know are going to do a good job with, mediocre writing, but it's amazing what good actors can do. So yeah, and I'm here, and it just feels it's very quick, and I feel a little bit, not dishonest, but I've only spent a short time with Beryl, but the time that I've spent with her, I really love her, you know what I mean? So I just feel very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be here, very fortunate to be unveiling a brand new spanking plaque, so thank you very much.
The text. Beryl Burton OBE was a cycling phenomenon, born in Halton, Leeds, and living in Morley for most of her married life. She became 3,000 metre track pursuit world champion in 1959, the first of 5 victories. She was road racing world champion twice, and every year from 1959 to 1983, British time trials best all-rounder, 1937 to 1996. What phenomenal records, and she died far too young, of course.